Don't bother me, I'm working. Don't bother me, I'm working.
Alright, so what's going on, YouTube? We're back with another episode of Lunch with an Entrepreneur. Today I have a personal friend of mine by the name of Brandon Goodman. We were former co-workers at the shipyard, and now he's out here doing real estate. He's a real estate entrepreneur. He's flipping houses, and I decided he'd be a great person to have on the show for you guys to get some information from. So right now I'm going to let Brandon go ahead and introduce himself. So what's going on, Brandon?
What's going on, Anthony? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm glad that you were able to come on the show and spend a little bit of time with me and my people. So I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you having me.
Ain't no problem. So I'm going to jump right into it, man. So first of all, go ahead and let the people know what your story is. Like, give us a little quick, brief synopsis of your background, your rundown, like what you want the people to know about you.
All right, so what I want the people to know is I come from the lower side of, you know what I mean? What I mean is we didn't have a lot growing up. I live now in the Virginia area, but I kind of travel back and forth between Georgia and Virginia basically all my life, you know what I mean? And you could say I came from the streets, you know. And so, you know, I know one of the things that a lot of people ask is, you know, why are you so different? What separates you? Why did you not follow that same path that so many of us brothers do? And to be honest with you, it was trial and error. Because I was out here in these streets doing all types of things that, you know, I really had no business doing. But at the time, it was the only thing I could see. And it took mentors, friends passing away, friends going to jail, and, you know, older people in my life, you know, that became positive role models to really show me, you know, this ain't it, man. You know, there is no winning. You know, it's craps. Eventually, you got to lose. You're playing against the house.
Right. And that's what's up, man. I think, and that's what we had in common from the beginning when we met, was the fact that we both come from kind of similar backgrounds and weren't from, like, great backgrounds, but we still decided to choose the, I guess you could say, quote unquote, right path. But I wanted to ask you, so what made you choose real estate? Like, how did you get into real estate anyway? What was your vision when you started into that?
All right, so real estate for me, I can't take complete credit for the vision. Yeah, I've always been fascinated with real estate. I just love watching to see what people can do with their homes, and how they can be creative. But, you know, honestly, it's something that my family has tried to build. So, you know, yeah, I told you we started off not having very much, but, you know, two key people in my life, which is my great-grandfather, Joe Johnson, and my grandmother, Kathleen Vaughn. They both worked really, really hard. So my great-grandfather, even toward the end of his life, instilled in us the idea that, you know, you got to go out here and you got to do better, you got to get more, and ain't nobody going to give it to you. He came from a little town in Gresham, South Carolina, where he was surrounded by other ethnicities, and they didn't really like him, you know, because he worked hard, he had a lot of land, and just didn't understand how he could be there at that time frame. We talk about the 1900s, 1920s, when times were a lot different.
Right.
So, because of that, because of me watching his work ethic, yeah, I kind of deviated from the path because, you know, I had some rough patches in my life, but, you know, I always thought back at the lessons that he taught me. You know, he died when I was younger, but I remember those things. He was the only male figure I really ever had in my life. The only male role model I had, so I was about 17 years old.
Right.
And then when you come to my grandmother, she worked 24-hour shifts. You know, this is a different time frame when that was legal. You know, she worked for the shipyard, and I remember her coming home with paint dripping. You know what I mean?
Right.
She just got off work. She's sweating. Got bandanas on. She looked like a dude. But, you know, and she started off and she bought one house, and throughout the years she's built, you know, what I would call a solid retirement plan, you know, but it took a long time to do it, and, you know, until she was able to get there, you know, the family didn't have much. So they motivated me to want to kind of push myself in that direction. They helped me to learn. I already had, you know, that curiosity, and they taught me what they could. And then when I learned all I could from them, I reached out and looked for other avenues of obtaining knowledge, and that's where I'm at now.
Right. And I had a chance to meet his grandmother, by the way, and she's just one of the most genuine people you could ever meet. She got like a real kind heart, and he right, man. All she do is work, and she invests into her real estate. Like, that's somebody that I definitely admire. And that made me wonder too. So I know that you still got the government job going on, and then you do your real estate. And so what I'm wondering is, at some point, do you see yourself leaving that job that you're at, or do you think that you're gonna kind of be like a secret millionaire that next door type of guy, where you keep that with the government benefits and have your millions in assets and all that? How you think you're gonna go about it going forward?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked me that question. It's funny because I just had a conversation with somebody the other day where I basically told him, like, yo, you're too talented to be where you at. You know what I mean? I know you work for the government. I know they're paying you $100,000 a year, but you could triple that in the first year on your own. And my mindset with that is I'm too talented. So it's been a blessing for me working for the government. They have allowed me the opportunity to move ahead in life, you know. But right now, I feel I'm at a place where I'm kind of stagnant. You know, I'm not going up, I'm not going down in that career path, and that's not my own choice. I never really had the intentions on staying with the government. It's always been my goal to make real estate my life. You know, don't just mean I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Virginia, but I don't just mean helping people buy and sell houses, you know, also flip houses. But I also want to be a speaker. You know, I want to teach people how to acquire wealth, because what many people don't know is that, you know, the really big difference between where we're at now in life and where some other ethnicities are is the fact that back in the early 1900s, and I'm talking about the 1950s and 1960s, when they started doing government-backed loans, they discriminated against Africans. And because of that, it put us behind the curve. Yes, they put fair housing laws in place, but there was no reinforcement of that. And it took a long time for that reinforcement to come. And so that's why we're behind the curve. So if you look at it, real estate is the one asset that will never leave, because you're going to always need it. The more people that come into this world, the more space we'll need, you know. And what we have on this earth is all we have. You can't make another earth. So
yeah. And I don't think there's a rich person that exists, maybe Bill Gates, that doesn't have real estate in their portfolio, but I never seen the portfolio, so he probably do too. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with that.
Right.
And so I want to jump to what made you jump? Like, what made you make that jump? Because now, first of all, I want to go ahead and let everybody know, like, I know you got a background in business that's about as long as mine. Like, I started doing business, everybody knows, since when I was 19. I believe you started around the same time.
I did.
With the lawn care and everything, and then you was doing real estate back then also. But
yep, I got a real estate license first when I was 18 years old.
Right, and so I'm wondering what made you like retake the jump, because you got the government job. You could have easily said, "Look, I'm making good money now. I done bought my house. I done bought some nice cars to play with. You know what I mean? I'm good." So what made you retake the jump though? Why did you risk what you already have?
So, and it's funny. So I took the risk because I never really felt like I could settle. You know, like I said before, the government job has been a blessing, but there's always been that hunger in me to do more. And then I have dreams, you know, of how I picture my life.
Right.
And I know.
So just to be clear, because the phone is kind of, I don't know if the connection is as good as I want it to be. You said because you never really felt like a success?
No, I said I haven't reached my level of success. You know.
Okay.
So. You know, I never wanted to be complacent to the point where I sit back and time is your enemy, but it's also your friend. And what I mean by that, you got those grandmothers and grandfathers and employees and workers that, you know, been at the shipyard or any job that you at for 20 and 30 years, you know, and you can look at them and say to yourself, is that where I want to be at? You know, because one thing I've learned about life is it's just a circle.
Right.
It revolves.
Right.
It always comes back to that, you know. So when I look at them, I say to myself, no, that's not where I want to be. Not saying that there's anything wrong with where they are, because they're comfortable.
Right.
But I can't allow myself to be that way, so I jumped all the way out there. I mean, I put it all on the line. You know, it was do or die. And by the grace of God, you know, I've been successful at that. And, you know, I'm just reaping those rewards now.
That's what's up. So what would you say that you wish you would have done early on, like now on this particular journey that you're on with flipping houses? What do you wish that you would have done different? Because I know, like in my case, I wish that I would have kept that job a little longer. You know what I mean? To pay my personal bills while the business actually grows and becomes a system. But I was just so anxious to get out of that job. But in your case, what would you say that you wish you done different?
I can honestly say nothing. You know, if you would have asked me this question 2 or 3 years ago, I could have told you all different types of stuff. Like, oh, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that.
Right.
But what I've come to learn to date is that, you know, we are our life experiences. And without those experiences, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't think the way I do. I wouldn't look at things the way I do. And so there was a time, about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, where I came up on a large lump sum of money, right? By real estate, actually. I had a problem in my house. I filed a claim on my insurance, and they wrote me a check that was much bigger than what I thought it was going to be. And, you know, unfortunately, I wasn't as, you know, I was trying to get myself into real estate, but trying to get myself back out there, but I didn't have my focus in the right place. Okay, so you know, I was still trying to hang out. I was still trying to party, and I had a job. So I wasn't focused, and because of that, it suffered. You know, an opportunity that could have been great turned into nothing. You know, honestly, I spent a lot of that money in various places. Some of it I couldn't even tell you where it went. You know, which is but because of that, you know, I learned. And I actually just reflected on it today. And I said, man, I really messed up. But because of that, what it allowed me to do is put life into perspective and say, well, what's more important to you? You know, a lot of people that know me know I have a really big passion for motorcycles. I love them.
Right.
And at one point in time, bike life was life. That's all I want to do is ride. And so I have a business partner. Some people know who he is. A lot of people don't, because I try to keep my business to myself.
Right.
But he was somebody that helped guide me in the right direction. He's a guy that he had to see something in me, you know, and by the grace of God, he chose me because, I mean, he's an extremely talented guy. He's only 2 years older than I am. He's as smart as I don't know what. And he had people throwing money out. Oh, money, left and right. Left and right. Hey, man, I give you 20,000, I give you 30,000, you know what I mean, going on the next deal with you. And he turned all of them down. And he approached me one day, and it's just as so I put a plan in place. One day I sat down and I realized, hey, this ain't gonna work. You know, I gotta find a way to get my money back up and get out here, and I gotta get on these houses. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be do or die. And I had no plan B, as you might say.
Right.
There wasn't. It was either I was gonna do it or I was gonna fall trying. And once I had that mindset, once I had that mindset, it was clear where it was going to be. In the beginning, it was I'm going to be a success. That's what I told myself. And so I got my money up. I found a plan, put that plan in place. For those of you that may want to find out how I did that, at the end of the conversation, at the end of this interview, I'm going to give you my information, and you can definitely contact me and learn more about that. But I put that plan in place, and just as the plan became a success, just as I came up on that money, this friend of mine, my partner now, he approaches me and he says, "Hey man, I got a house coming up. They want to get on this deal." And he had been talking to me about it for 2 years. But me being me, I don't like new people.
Right.
I can socialize with you, but have a good conversation with you and teach you everything I can about whatever it is I know. But after that, I go back into my little my little corner.
Exactly, right.
And that's just how I've always been, and I like that about myself.
Right. I was telling Jen about it because I'm the same. You know how I am. I'm the same way. And I said that being like that, it hurts me sometimes because I'm probably limiting myself from certain circles, but at the same time, it helps me too because it ensures that I don't have to depend on anybody else. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So same thing. And so, I just got the money. A deal was on the table. I was gonna try to do one by myself, but I knew how hard it could be. There's so much to it. HGTV does not depict what it is to do a flip. There are so many problems that can come up, and these problems can cost you $5,000 and $10,000. Things people don't even think about, like holding costs.
Right.
Well, if your property sits for 6 months and you got the lights and the water on, because when people come to see the house, they want the lights and the water on so they can see it. And you got to pay that bill,
Right.
So you got a $2,000 bill you weren't expecting. And that's not to mention if somebody asks you for something. Well, we like the house, but, we want ceiling fans in all the rooms. Well, if your house is sitting for 6 months, a couple $75 ceiling fans sound like a good idea. But you didn't put that in the budget, you know what I mean? And then, you $7,000, $10,000 over budget, easy, quick. It's already happened. To me on 2 occasions. I was just blessed and fortunate to be in the right place and really, God helped me there because, I did the footwork to put myself in a position where when the opportunity came up, I could jump on it. But I definitely give it to God when I say that, he actually, he said, "Brandon, I see the work you're doing. And I appreciate you for doing that. Here's how you're going to move ahead." You know what I mean?
Right. And I'm glad that you brought up your partnership because, and I had my little list of questions, right? But now you done made me think of some. But look, so I'm glad you brought up the partnership, though, because me personally, I don't really care too much for partnerships. I know a lot of entrepreneurs don't. However, there are situations when a partnership not only works out, but it ends up being the best route to go. So, in your opinion, what do you think about partnerships? And then also, what do you think that people should look for if they are looking to partner?
So I'm glad you asked me that question because I feel like a lot of insight on that because I tried to do a couple partnerships.
Oh, that's right. I remember you did the other one too with the lawn care business. With your second lawn care business, anyway.
Yeah, with my second lawn care business. So, that partnership, the lawn care business partnership, it didn't work out so well because our motives were different, right? And my partner didn't understand business, right?
Right.
And what I mean by that is you can't be mad at me for making a business decision, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, this is business. I'm not going to do you wrong on what you do me wrong. But if I make a business decision, you have to respect that. So in that particular situation, I still had a full-time job. So when I started the business, I didn't. Then I started working at the shipyard. So I'm going to school, I'm working, and I'm cutting yards in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. Right? And I'm doing it every day, 7 days a week.
Right.
My partner, he didn't have a job. And so he at least lost his job. He's like, "Hey, we should start a lawn care business. And, we'll be partners, 50-50, blah, blah, blah." And we did that. Went down to the city, got our license, went to work. Boom, boom, boom. By the way, I don't really suggest getting a license when you first starting off the lawn care. Mm-hmm. Unless you already got something else going on and you need to write off. Other than that, I don't really see the benefit of that. It's just my personal. So the problem became, even though from his point of view,
he was out there cutting grass in the morning. He's like, I'm out here doing it myself. I'm like, well, we can hire a third guy, come do the work. Well, his mindset was he felt like he became my work, even though we were splitting everything. And then he felt like he should get a bigger half because he was out there working. I said, no, that's not how that works. We got an agreement. It's 50-50.
Right.
I have somebody doing the work in my place. 75 to 80% of the equipment that I purchased, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the rest of the stuff we went half on, that's not how that works. That's not how you do business.
Right.
So I learned my lesson from that situation, and because he was such a great friend, and I had so much love for him, I gave him the majority of the business.
Right.
Gave him most of the clientele. I said, hey, you need this more than I do. It's not really my thing. I don't have a passion for it. I do it, but it's not really a passion. I need to have a passion for it. So
Right.
you take this on, left him with a trailer, and like I said, most of the equipment. So that was relationship number one. All right. So I learned life lessons from that.
Right.
And that's why when you asked me earlier, is there anything I wish I would have done different? I say no, because that was small versus me being out here flipping houses, doing triple digit numbers with houses and having to fall out like that because I didn't know better.
Right.
That's going to hurt a lot more. That's a little bit harder to recover from.
Right.
And so learning them lessons early on is really just truly been a blessing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second situation. The second situation was a female, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. She was real pretty. But she's also extremely smart, and I loved it for her knowledge. And so we were forming a partnership. We were doing a nonprofit organization. I was excited about it. The goal behind it was extraordinary. And I'm still going to do it. It's just going to be at a later time in life. It definitely hasn't fallen by the wayside. I just had to put it to the background so I can get where I need to be first.
Right.
And then get out there and help others. So what I learned in that situation is it can't be personal. What I mean by it can't be personal is for her, she wanted somebody to be I want to word this the right way.
Right.
She wanted to be the face, and she wanted the team behind her to do the work.
Right.
Right. For me, I genuinely wanted a 50-50 partnership. And maybe I had a little intention on, trying to make her my wife. I'm not gonna lie. So, I learned that, you can't make those two.
Right.
So that was lesson number two. And then I came to where I am now. Before me and him became partners, we were friends, we were co-workers, we were colleagues for years, 2 more years. And then I probably know him about 3 years. Yep. 3, maybe, no. You know what? I probably know that man 4, maybe 4.5 years now. I met him almost beginning of my shipyard experience.
Right.
We clicked instantly, we kind of fell off. We didn't really keep in touch, so he had a lot going on.
Right.
But, we always had that mutual respect for one another. So I would say this, because the original question, and I apologize if I got too far off topic, because I can talk.
You good? Take your time.
I know part of your original question was, what do you look for in a business partner?
Mm-hmm.
You want someone that has the ambition on their own, all right? So when I say on their own, they already doing something by themselves, okay? You're doing your thing, and he's doing his thing, or she's doing her thing. And then you have to assess what it is they bring to the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do they bring knowledge? Do they bring financial backing? And once you determine what that is that they bring to the table, the next step is to determine if that's what you need.
Right.
Right? So I took the time to look at him and say, okay, well, what is he? Okay, he's smart. He understands real estate. Okay, he understands business. And he knows how to separate between the two. Because I'm going to be honest, since I've been with Beck, he has catapulted me to a new level of thinking. you know, and even expand on that, you know. So we recently had a deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you don't hear about this too soon, but I'm going to test it, so it's going to be what it is. So recently we had a deal, and my money from the last real estate transaction didn't clear soon enough before the project. So that means I didn't invest as the project was going on. Even though I was there putting in the footwork, I wasn't there with the financials, and that's what it is. That's our agreement. You know, not only am I going to be there financially, but I'm also going to be there putting in that legwork.
Right.
You know, and so even though I was able to put in the legwork, I didn't have the financial back. And so once my money cleared, I'm like, hey, you know, we still gonna do the deal together? He said, yeah, but the circumstances have changed because the project's done now. You know.
Right.
So, you know, I put you in on the deal, but, you know, the numbers are going to be different. You know, I got to, you know, kind of do some research and just kind of figure out what it is. I've never really been in this situation.
Right.
I said, okay. And so he came back, and his numbers were less than what would have made sense for me to invest in. You know, with the amount of money and the amount of time, the potential, you know, the potential profit, it wasn't worth it.
Right.
And so I could almost sit that when he told it to me, he sent it to me through a text message, which normally he doesn't do that. And, you know, because we talk all throughout the day. He's probably become one of my best friends in life.
Right.
I definitely say he's become one of my best friends in life. He sent it to me in a text message. And, you know, even before, I could kind of feel like he wanted to do what was what a businessman should do, but there was a personal touch to it because he was such a close friend.
Right.
Right. And so he sent me the numbers in a text message. I looked at them, and it took me a couple hours. I thought about it, and I just declined. I said, you know, I'm going to decline on that offer. And he kind of stepped back, not like in the literal sense, but I didn't hear from him like I normally would for that day or two. And I hit him up, and I carried on conversation as normal. And then we were right back.
Right.
And, you know, I could kind of tell that he wasn't sure if I was going to feel some type of way.
Right.
But I understood where he was mentally, right?
Right.
And I respected that because it was a business decision.
Right.
Okay? So I had no problem with his business decision. It wasn't personal, it was business.
Right.
What he said made sense on his behalf. He was thinking of it from the standpoint of, well, if I give him this percentage on his money, that's more than what he would get with the money sitting in the bank. That's how he was thinking about it.
Right.
Right? And I already know that. But my thought process was, yeah, it's more money than I would get sitting in the bank, but in the bank, I'm guaranteed to get my money back. No question.
Right.
At the end of X amount of time, a year, 6 months, I'm going to get whatever they guarantee me. I'm going to get that money back. In real estate, the market can change at any time.
Right.
So my risk factor is much higher. And so because of that, you know, there's a number in my mind that I won't even do a deal if it's less than that number.
Right.
Because the risk's too great.
Right. And I like that you brought that up too, the fact that that you have to separate feelings from business. There are no feelings in business. Like how you feel ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? When you're doing business. And so I love that, and the fact that both of y'all were able to be mature enough and be business savvy enough to agree to disagree rather without feelings being involved. Even if you had to take a little bit of time to cool down, there was still no hard feelings. You guys still friends to this day. So that's what I love that, and people need to hear that. And I want to also, so I'm gonna go on to my next question, which was, what is something practical, like some practical advice that you can give to my listeners right now that they can implement in their life that could make a positive impact going forward?
Okay. This will be quick and simple for you.
Okay.
Evaluate your friends. See what it is that they're doing. When I was young, I thought that, your parents and grandparents and all your older families, aunties, uncles, I always say, y'all the company you keep. At least that's what mine used to say. And when I was young, I was like, nah, that's not the case. Just because they're doing this, that, and the third, I don't mean I'm going to be the same way. I just like hanging out with them. They're funny. and we have a good time.
Right.
But the truth of the situation is, you are the company you keep, because if everybody else is complacent and they're not trying to push forward to the next level of success, you know, you're going to be that way because you feel like you are where you need to be. Versus being around somebody that's doing things and continuing to grow, and you're like, whoa, I need to really get on my game.
Right. I like
you want to
that.
be able to motivate you.
Right. And I
You
think
want to
that's
be able to feed you, give you that hunger, you know?
right. And I think that's key too. Like I asked before, I was like, what separates you? Like, how did you get from like that street mentality to knowing like, all right, I'm gonna go this route because the streets ain't nowhere. And that's really key. The fact that you separate yourself from those people who think that way. You better put yourself around people who are thinking on that higher level of consciousness like you are. And I think that's why we kind of gravitated towards each other when we met. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
so my next question will be, what would you say to anybody who's afraid to make that jump? Because I know you took the jump, I took the jump, and we had different things that triggered us. But if you could help somebody, maybe you can trigger somebody to jump right now. What do you want to say to that person?
Well, that's a tough question. There's so many things that come to mind, but I kind of say this, and you know, this is where I leave it. So, one of my favorite quotes, and you know, it's amazing that I might not be able to say it verbatim right now.
Right.
This conversation has really just made me think about so many things and just where I've come from, you know, and it's really kind of took me back a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. But Martin Luther King Jr. said, it's not where you stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where you stand at times of controversy.
Mm-hmm.
And what I interpreted from that was that when you're comfortable and there is no problems and everything's good and you're complacent, you're not saying nothing about who you are. Okay? It's when you're down on your luck. That's when you see who you truly are. When you're at the rock bottom. So the only way to see where you are and where you can be in life, and not think back 40 years about all the maybes, woulda, couldas, and possibilities, is to jump out there and see what happens when you put yourself in controversy. And controversy doesn't mean an argument or a fight or, you know, any type of violent situation. Controversy just means problems.
Right.
Right? So take yourself out of that comfort zone and see what it's like when you get in the problems. Who are you? Ask yourself that question. Who are you? And when you find out, let me know.
Exactly. Talk that talk. Hey, so last week, so we made it to the end, right? So I didn't dive deep into the real estate. So for y'all listening who want to learn more on how to get started, or maybe you need to find a partner because you want to get into real estate, we about to help you out now. So I'm about to ask him all of his stuff so y'all can hit him up. But if you got questions about the real estate or anything that we didn't discuss, doing lawn care, he has experience in that. But whatever the case may be, if you want to follow this man's journey, Brandon, how can they reach you if they want to keep up with you? Social media, website, phone number, email, whatever you got, throw it out there.
All right. So I use Facebook a lot.
Okay.
So you can find me. My name on Facebook is Brandon Rich already. I actually did that from you. You know, all honesty, I got that from Anthony. I saw it one day on Facebook and I was like, Anthony Rich already? Well, he's still struggling like me.
Right.
in my thought process, that's what the first thing that came to my mind. But I said, you know what? He's speaking into existence where he's going to be in life.
Right.
And when I understood that, I understood what I needed to do. And so I said, I'm going to put the same thing up there because me and him will be up there together. We're going to be laughing. So, and that's what that came from. So it's Brandon Rich already, but you can look me up by my name, which is Brandon, Brandon Goodman, Goodman. All right. You can also email me at businessman.b, B as in Bravo, D as in David, G as in golf, at gmail.com. All right. You know, that's I have Snapchat, but I don't really use it. You can reach out to me on Facebook, send me a messenger message, and I'll definitely respond if you have questions, comments, concerns. You trying to get out here and you just need to know how to do it. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. But what I also tell you is that I will help you find the answer. I will guide you in the right direction. And that's just because I want to see everybody out here reach their dreams and their goals in life. I mean, that's what we're here for. You got a limited time. The most valuable asset outside of real estate, which I know I love real estate, is time.
Right.
You can't get it. Can't get it back. You can't. There's no amount of money. Donald Trump couldn't buy back time.
Right.
Bill Gates. So.
And that's straight up. And I think Brandon, that's why I chose him, because we very similar. Like, with bottom line, we just want to help people. You know what I mean? Like, of course we trying to build wealth on our own, but if you come to us, we gonna have an answer for you. Even if we don't know the answer, we'll do our best to steer you in the right direction. So, Brian, I appreciate you even spending this time with me tonight. You ain't have to do this, or my bad, I forgot it's lunchtime when I upload this. So, spending this time with us on this lunch hour, you know what I mean, and sharing this knowledge with you. And I just want y'all to know, like, this is one of my what do you call them, colleagues right here. This is one of my people right here. Whenever I got new business ideas or when I'm thinking about something, this is one of the people I call. So definitely keep up with Brandon. If you like me, you should like this guy. You know what I mean? So thank you again, Brandon. And if you got any last thing to say, you can go ahead and let them know, and we'll be done.
The only thing I got to say is I wish everyone good luck on their adventures. And if you need me, or when you need me, if I can ever help, reach out to me, and let's get this money.
All right, then. Let's get it. All right, so I appreciate you having lunch with us today, and you enjoy the rest of your day, bro.
You too.
All right, thank you.